I was able to cure my GERD naturally at home without having to use any medications. Here's how I did it. So I was diagnosed with GERD in 2021. I was having lots of stomach issues, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, just bloating in general. I felt like I was gonna throw up all the time. It was a miserable experience. I lost a bunch of weight, and I didn't have weight to lose at the time. But I went down the route of going to doctors, tried a couple of medications, the PPIs. They did not work. They made me feel worse. I had, brain fog, dizziness, headaches, and I was generally just not feeling well. I went to 3 different doctors. All 3 of them prescribed me different PPIs, and it just didn't work for me. And so I realized at this point, I wanted to figure out what can I do at home. All of them kind of gave me general diet advice, but they really didn't dive into how can I change and cure myself? How can I help with this, not just manage the symptoms? And so I went down the rabbit hole. I researched and researched and researched. It was a good year of experimenting and trying different things before I learned what worked. Here's what worked for me. So the first step that really made the biggest difference is I did an elimination diet. This kind of depends on the severity of your GERD. If it's just kind of irregular, not every day, you can kind of go on a less restrictive kind of elimination diet, like something like the Whole30 diet. But if you're someone who has extreme GERD, you're having lots of symptoms like me, I did the carnivore diet. Sounds crazy, but eliminating all of these kind of anti-nutrients, these toxins that get in our food, and kind of going down to the bare basics, the necessities, really allows your gut time to heal. So I was eating lots of beef, lots of eggs. I was having bone broth regularly. And then as my stomach started to get a little bit more healed, I was adding in some cheese and some dairy products. But I would start there for most people. Again, the severity depends on how extreme you go with your elimination diet. So if you're very extreme, I would do the carnivore diet. If you have kind of just regular GERD symptoms, but they're not super extreme, start with something more like a Whole30 or a Whole Foods kind of diet, or something like the animal-based, something that restricts a little bit, but isn't super restrictive, isn't as intense. And I made sure to essentially do this elimination diet. I did it for 3 months, and at this point I was in a terrible state, and then I felt so much better that Christmas came around. I ate whatever I wanted, and I didn't have a single freaking GERD symptom, which was a false sense of hope because it made me kind of go back into a binge mindset. So I ended up going on an elimination diet again, off and on, for a couple of years before I really was able to figure out that I need to slowly introduce foods and see what I react with. And so I learned this. Nowadays, I eat much more of a whole food or Whole30 style diet. But I had to learn that. So you go from elimination diet to adding in things slowly to see if you react. Certain foods like gluten, soy, I can't do, funny enough, I can't do nightshades like white potato, eggplant, tomatoes, anything like that, because those cause reactions. Coffee is one that unfortunately I just react poorly to. So you have to figure out those foods for you that don't work well. And so do the elimination diet, and then slowly add things in, experimenting to see what reactions you have, one thing at a time. And then you kind of find that maintenance where there's certain foods, certain habits you have to stick to kind of keep that GERD at bay. So for me, I make sure I try not to eat for at least 2 hours before bedtime, because I know if I lay down flat on my back, I'm more likely to have that GERD kind of acid reflux and whatnot. I don't drink water with meals because that's poor for digestion. I actually do still elevate my bed slightly, and this isn't as much for GERD as I like it. And I don't really have acid reflux when I'm sleeping anymore, but I notice I feel better in the morning as a whole. I don't have any sore throat or any runny nose or anything when I'm laying slightly inclined. So that's something, if you're having GERD right now, that's actually a really good way to help with that. It's just getting some slight incline in your bed to help with the acid reflux. And then, I'm just making sure that I'm eating the foods that respond well to my body, because we're not what we eat, we are what we digest. And so if you aren't digesting your food properly, that's not good. So we need to be eating things that we can actually properly digest. So try these 3 things: the elimination diet, the reintroduction of food, and then the maintenance of good healthy habits and good healthy food choices. And you'll notice your GERD symptoms will probably just completely disappear or be so irregular that it's not really a problem anymore. If you like this video, consider leaving a follow here, or liking the video, commenting your experience. I'm going to try and post videos about kind of my GERD experience each week, just to kind of give you some experience and some practical tips that I did to help cure my GERD. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys next time.